Hey, how you doing everyone? Great to see you all again. My name is MC. For those of you who are new around here, I am all about filmmaking tips and tricks, making cinematics, traveling from time to time whenever I do get to go traveling. And today's video is all about making music videos. Okay, so I've done my fair share of music videos. I shot my very first one back home in Singapore for a friend from high school. Done 2 in the UK, 3 actually in the UK ever since. And so I just thought today I'd break down how you actually go about shooting a music video from start to finish. Because I figured there may be some details that people are unsure of, so I figured I'd just break every single step down and just talk you all through it. Okay, so without further ado, let's just get right into this. So first things first, you've secured an artist. I like how I missed myself doing that, you know? Anyway, so you secured an artist. That's the very first thing. So I'm obviously jumping a little bit ahead to the point where you've got an artist, they have a song, they've booked you in, okay? And so the very first thing is creating a treatment. So this is basically, the song has a story. So the treatment can break down, this is a story we're gonna tell, and then you visually show the artist the style you're gonna go for. So you'll use things like screenshots from films, maybe from other music videos, to show the coloring, maybe the outfits, the style of the shots, the kind of shots as well. Like a lot of time, I keep missing my fingers, man. Like if you're gonna get loads of tights, or if you're gonna utilize a lot of wide shots over mediums and close-ups, for example. Stuff like this, it's gonna be kind of like just showing visually everything about the music video to the artist, showing them what you wanna create. And once they approve this, you're good to go. So after that, budgeting, really. So I had one music video where I was really able to take advantage of the budget. I was given, this was back in Singapore. This was the music video I shot for a friend, Fionn Williams. So I'll be showing some of the BTS from that. My friend Heng Films back in Singapore made. So crediting him down below in the description. She gave me $1,000 budget for any equipment I wanted, and also let me just keep the rest as pay. So what I did was, this was before I had my Red Scarlet. I rented the Red Raven from a local camera house, and then I also rented out some Kino Flow lights. However, she actually got that from her budget. She had a lot of budget, but anyway, this is my first music video. I didn't actually do everything according to the list I'm making. So this was part of the learning experience, but having done this now, it's like you would know the entire budget. So what you'll want to do is you'll ask the client or the artist what their budget is, or it could be a label you're doing this for. And if they say, let's say $10,000, then you'll be like, okay, so you need to take from that $10,000 what you're going to charge, like for your services. Let's just say it's a one-day shoot, just to make things simple. Although obviously you can shoot over multiple days. I think this music video I was using as an example, I shot this over 2 days. So you take 2,000 as your pay. Then let's say you need to drive there. So you could take maybe like 250 for expenses. Well, let's yeah, like 250 for expenses. So that's like driving and food, covers petrol and all that, parking if you need to pay for it as well. And then you could rent out, say like an Arri Alexa Mini, which is, let's just, for example, say like 1,000 a day, even though I know it's cheaper than that, but let's just throw that out there. So basically you would create a breakdown in say Excel and say what you're gonna spend every single cent of that $10,000 on. And it's always best you ask the person what their budget is, because let's say, this is kind of a bit of a separate topic, but I'll touch on it really quickly. If you say, I do music videos for $500, if Kanye West comes up to you and says, I want you to shoot a music video, but you've got it listed on your website that you'd shoot every music video for $500, he's gonna expect you to make a banging music video for $500. So never present your prices online. and never just say, I'll do it for this much, unless you're starting out. That's a different story though. I'll touch on that in another video. So always ask what their budget is, and then from there you budget out all the equipment. If you need to book a location, if you need to pay other people, like if you want to bring on like lighting people, grips, gaffers, whatever. Then from that you can take a bigger payoff, like a bigger payout to yourself, instead of just being like, oh, I'll do it for 500, but then they had a budget of like $10,000, you know, like you're missing out a lot. So you break down the budget. So now we're gonna get onto the actual shooting process of the music video. So at this point, you've got your location. So at this point, you've got your locations chosen, paid for, booked. You've got additional crew booked and everything, contract signed and all of that. Everyone knows the story. Everybody knows all the shots that are gonna be made, the artist, everyone's booked. Everything is coming for this day. So it's shooting day. So when it comes to shooting, you need to plan out the shots you're going to be doing. I mean, I guess technically this is also part of pre-production. This is actually part of pre-production, but sometimes you can think of new shots on the day, because I often do that. So you'll need to thinking about like, okay, so when it comes to actually shooting a music video, there are 3 shots I always get, regardless of the story type of genre, like the genre of the song or the artist. It's a wide, a medium, and a close. Now, sometimes there will be exceptions to this rule. So say the artist doesn't like, say the overall style of the video is to use loads of wide shots. Then maybe I won't, for every single performance shot, shoot a wide, medium, and close, because maybe the close and medium aren't required. However, majority of shoots, they are, so I do that. After I've shot the wide, medium, and close shots, I will then do specialty shots. These could be things like doing a 360 roll shot, which I guess technically is a wide. It could be wide to medium, because if you like track forward and track backward as you do the 360 roll, you know, and then also some detail shots. Often by detail shots, I mean things like details of the area, of the location. Say like if there's a brick wall, get like a nice close-up detail shot of that brick wall. Say if the artist is wearing a lot of jewelry or something, or has some cool tattoos, get those detail shots, because you can like cut those in to the song, and it'll just add more to the overall music video experience. Now here's something that I mean, it's kind of obvious when you think about it, but nobody's actually, well, from the videos I've watched, actually said you do this, but it's just kind of obvious. When you start to record the actual music video, like when you hit record on your camera, you also need to cue the music. So I am always recording audio through my camera's built-in microphones. You can put an external microphone, like I've got the Rode VideoMic Pro on here, the first generation. But yeah, I just use the built-in microphones, which on my Red are kind of trash, on most cameras are kind of trash, but it's not like you're gonna be using that audio. You just use it for post when you want to sync all of the performance shots together, but I'll come to that later. Yeah, the main thing is that you wanna make sure you cue the song, that you're not just like, you know, you assume like, okay, an artist go, or like they use headphones or something. I don't know. Basically, make sure the artist or you brings a Bluetooth speaker and then just play the song, and then you can like, that's how you do it, just in case anyone, like having someone just tell you, just so you know, okay? Okay. So the next thing you need to think of when it comes to shooting, the third thing, is this the third thing? Is what equipment are you going to need? So do you need, for example, a gimbal? Does the song require the smoothness of a gimbal, or can you get away with doing everything handheld? Or vice versa, does everything need to be perfectly smooth? No handheld, everything on a gimbal or a crane or a jib or a Russian arm, I think that's what it's called. That's like the huge kind of like crane things that go on cars. Those things are so cool. I really want to use one of those. Do you need to rent out extra lenses? Do you need to rent out extra lights? I think lighting is probably the most important thing anyway. You probably will need to rent out lights, but like, do you need to get specialty lights? Like, do you need to get the Quasar tubes, or do you need to get Astra pixel tubes, or the Titan tubes, or whatever? Do you need like more aperture 120Ds, or do you need a big like Arri M15 light? Things like this. Equipment side is also a big part of it. So it kind of depends. Like if you're doing every role by yourself, if you're kind of a solo creator for music videos, then this is a lot of work to do. But obviously at this point, you're probably working for smaller budget artists, so they won't have the budget to rent out loads of lights and nice cine lenses and even expensive cinema cameras and stuff like that. So you'll basically just be using what you have. So if you have, like, I don't even have an Aperture 120D. I use this Aperture Amaran, I'm gonna link it below. I have no idea what it's called. It's a good light. It's not as great as the Aperture 120D. To my right, I've got a 90-pound light, as in 90 British pounds. So I don't know, 100 US dollars. from Amazon. What is this? The Yongnuo 360. It's an RGB light. It's actually a pretty decent light for only being 90 pounds. I don't use that light. That's just my Philips Hue orb thing. I just use it at home. Just a little splash of color in YouTube videos. Yeah, and I just use what I have. Like I literally just use these two lights to light my videos, and it works out for most cases. But let's say we're gonna be shooting in the dark, or they want a specific look, then I'll have to tell them like, okay, look, you're gonna need a bit more budget, or we're gonna have to work this into the budget or something like that. Where was I going with this? So yeah, if you're a smaller like creator and you're doing all these things by yourself, then you won't have to worry about like, oh my God, I need to rent lenses, lights, grips, blah, 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 because you're probably using your own equipment. But if you are working with a bigger crew and you can hire, let's say like 2, 3, 4, 5 people to specialize in certain roles, then yeah, you'll probably have the budget to rent out more lights and maybe an assistant, an AC to help with like changing lenses or like pulling focus and stuff like that. So you can rent out things like a wireless follow focus. But yeah, if you have a lot of things yourself, then you don't need to worry too much about the equipment. It's more just thinking like, what will I be using for the shoot? During the shoot, like, will I need my gimbal? Will I need this lens? Will I need this camera? I often just use my Red Scarlet W. I bring a wide, medium, and close-up lens. So that's going to be this Samyang 14mm, or Samyang / Rokinon. They're the same company, FYI. So I bring my 14mm, my 35mm, and my 85mm. And honestly, I don't end up using the 85mm that often, if at all, because with my 35mm, I just physically move closer to the subject to get close-ups. Okay, so you finished shooting, you have got all your shots, all your performance shots, B-roll shots, detail shots, specialty shots. You've got everything you need. It's all shot, all backed up on 2 hard drives. Make sure you do that. Also make sure you shoot every shot twice at least. Even if they do the first one perfectly, shoot it again, because you may mess up the first one and only have the second one, for example. So now you're at the editing point. So you're gonna make your timeline in Premiere Pro or Final Cut, whatever. I use Premiere Pro, so I'm gonna be talking more about like that editing software for the examples I'm talking about. So first thing I do is I drag all the performance shots into my timeline. Then I'll synchronize them with the song. So this is where recording audio during the shoot comes in handy, because you can make Premiere do all of the legwork for you. Now, it's not always perfect. A lot of the time Premiere will miss a few clips, like misalign them. You should probably check anyway. Don't just assume that Premiere's done it perfectly, because it never does. And it's not that it's difficult to synchronize the shots with the song itself in post. It's just that if you have like 10 performance shots and you've got a wide, a medium, and a close for all of those performance shots, then it's a lot to do. So having Premiere do most of it helps out a lot, but just double check that it's done it correctly in the first place. Then after that, I will label all of my shots. So what I mean by this is, if you right click on a clip in Premiere Pro, you go to label, you can then choose the color of that clip in Premiere Pro's timeline, which is super, super handy, because you can basically color code every single clip. Obviously, there are not like 100 different colors to choose from. I think there's like 15 or something like that. But it really helps, because mentally I can just be like, that blue clip was this shot, that green clip was this shot, that pink clip was this shot. And it helps when you have like 20 layers of different clips to just be like, oh yeah, that was that. So you don't need to check every time when you want to just make a small, like if you want to bring one clip a little bit shorter and extend another clip, you don't need to be like, oh, was this that shot and was this that shot? You just be like, yeah, I remember from this color, it's that shot and blah, blah, blah. It helps, it makes things a bit faster, and it makes it easier to remember what shot is what. So after I've done that, I will then cut all the performance shots up. I won't touch any B-roll, won't do any coloring. Maybe, sometimes I'll do a little bit of coloring just because I want to see what it's gonna look like. But even then, maybe I'll just do it on one shot and just forget the rest, because just testing it to see what it looks like. But the main thing is you want to cut all the performance shots first. Do nothing else, no effects, no coloring, nothing. Just do the performance shots first. Once you got your performance shots down, then you can start adding B-roll. This makes it so that it's less complicated for you. It's a lot less work as well. So like, could you imagine doing a performance shot and then adding all the B-roll, then doing the next performance shot, then adding all the B-roll? It's a lot slower. It's a lot more of a hassle than doing performance shot, blah, 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 then doing B-roll, 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 or B-roll. It's a lot smoother and it makes the process a lot faster. And then of course, after the B-roll, you can add things like special effects, color grades, if you want to add grain, if you want to add like lens flares, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But it's important that that all comes after you've cut the main meat of the video, which is the performance shots. So once you have done all the performance shots, you've added the B-roll, added all your coloring, added all your effects, added all the titles and logos that need to be required, and make sure you double check the spelling of any text you create, because it's a huge pain in the ass. I haven't actually done this, which I'm very proud of, but it's a very huge pain in the ass if you export something, send it off to a client, and the issue they have with it is that you spelled a word wrong. It's a whole nother, like, let's just say it takes an hour to export, a whole hour of exporting you need to do again just because of such a small mistake. So double check everything before you export it, and then you'll just send it off to the client, and there will be a back and forth. Your first draft will never be exactly what they want. They may be like, could you move this shot here? Could you add this text? Could you change the style of that logo? Could you move this shot over here? Could you make this color a bit colder or a bit warmer? Blah, 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 blah. There'll be a back and forth for a while. To make this process a bit smoother, try be on the money from the very first draft. So make sure you know exactly what the client wants, exactly what the artist wants, how they want the music video to look, feel, how they want the pacing of the cuts to feel, how they want it to be. And then from there, you'll have less drafts exported because you'll be so close to what they want from the very first export. I usually average around like 5 drafts per video, because I'm usually dead on what they want from the first draft, but there's more like just smaller changes. I'd say the second draft is where you make the most changes, and then from there it's just little tweaks. They may also get input from other people. A lot of the time I've had that, like the 3 music videos I've shot in the UK, they always ask other people like in their team, what do you think, maybe this should change. And then yeah, from that you're done. You export it, you send it off, you get paid, and you're done. You shot a music video, congratulations. And that is that. That is how you shoot a music video from start to finish. I don't know what this is meant to represent. This is the start, and this is the finish. No, but that's it, guys. I hope this was helpful to some of you. I hope many of you will know what to do when it comes to shooting music videos now. And if you have done music videos before, but you do things a little differently, comment below what you do. I'd love to get some input from you guys. Obviously, I'm no master in shooting music videos, but I've done about, well, 4 now. So I kind of know what I'm doing. I know the process now. And yeah, obviously I do all the stuff myself. The very first music video, I had crew in the sense I just asked my friends in Singapore, like, hey, I'm shooting a music video, do you want to help out? And I'd be like, can you do this? Can you hold this? Blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't literally like, you're the first AC, your grip, your blah, 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 blah. It was literally just like roping in friends to help with the project. Yeah, I hope you guys found this useful. I hope you guys go out and create some bangers for music videos for different artists and stuff. And yeah, comment below, like I said, if you do things differently, maybe some of the experiences you've had with artists, maybe being a little crazy, or maybe being like absolutely perfect with you. And yeah, thanks so much for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Mira,